Ferg. The first iteration. Dun dun dun. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna get rid of that for now. I did add a separate scene for all the camera stuff. But if I need to show something, I got this ready to go. But this is kind of one of those things where I kind of want to do just a talkie stream type deal. Comedy, story time. I might do other things, who knows. But you get me in all my raging glory. Super happy fun time. Super happy. But yeah, I think I'm gonna, because I want to use the other live scene for stuff that is, you know, maybe I need to show a picture or something else or whatever, you know, just to explain some of the stuff. My thumb looks really square. This thumb just wait. Oh crap, did I not do that right? Oh no. That is not what's, no. 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 I could have swore I changed it. Did I forget to save it? Yes, I forgot to save it. Ay, ay, ay. I forgot to click the updates. I'm a moron. I forgot to hit the button. I do have stream elements, but I don't really use it very well. But, yeah. Alright. Now everything's in the... Everything is correct. You know what? I should start all over, but yeah. What do you want to redesign creator dashboard layout? Ooh, wow. My stream is excellent. Yeah. I figured that. But anyway, I got that ready to go. I got that. I got it changed so it's right now. But yes. I really should put a background on there. Chat box frame. That's the chat. Oh, it is kind of hard to see. I thought there was something behind there, but oh well. Whatever, that's something I could fix later. Whatever. But yeah, let's see. Well, anyway, I was gonna start off by telling some of my more interesting stories. Definitely. I like the older school ones, but yeah. Well, anyway, oh my god, is that my car? That almost looks exactly like my car. What the hell? I'm gonna start off by, you know, explaining some of my more interesting stories. I might get other people here for the next one or whatever, but I just wanted to do this because I have some entertaining stories. Well, anyway, as most people don't know, my first car was a 1984 Buick Skyhawk. This will come into play later. If you don't know what it is, think the old IROC Camaros, you know, big V8 muscly car. It's like they took all the things they didn't put in that car and like put it in this one. It's like, Buick, we need a sporty car that's efficient. Well, yeah, this looks almost exactly like my car. Oh, that's the turbo one. That's not quite like mine. This one is. Except for, oh crap. Nope. Don't start that. Let's see. I just wish I could find a way to get the image bigger, but whatever. Well, anyway, this is my first car. The wannabe Camaro. It's like all the bad ideas. Oh, here we go. And can I? Let's see. Open image, a new tab. All right. So basically, it is not a very nice car. It's not very good. Whatever. Well, anyway, I started with this. My grandparents got it for me because I could pay the insurance. Because that's the only way I got it. They didn't want me to have their Caprice because that was too, my dad didn't want me to have it be a car. He's gonna wreck it. So I wound up with the Buick Skyhawk. Well, anyway, so I got this car, fun little car. It's fine. It required some work. My grandpa and me kind of worked on it, so I kind of got the basic understanding. My car was so wonderful. It was so great. I live in Minnesota, so it needed a core plug. I needed to plug it in when it got too cold. Well, too cold for this car was 40 degrees. After that, any lower than that, once it hit 40, I had to plug it in, otherwise it would not start ever. And when I'd work, it would do that crap too. Well, anyway, like being the innovative person I am, I had to plug it in. I've used the curb to change it. Well, anyway, I've had some fun stories in this car. It's my first car. We used to drive around. I put subs in it, which was, big 90s thing to do. Subs and everything. Of course, I didn't do that till like the 2000s after I was out of school. And I did have my senior year of high school. I had some 8-inch subs. I think I still got them somewhere. I know I have my 12s because they were in my Jeep. Well, anyway, I got this car. It was great. I had to plug it in. It was nothing. It was a headache. Let's just say that. But just to give you an image, this is what it looked like. Yes, you think it's a Camaro. It's not a Camaro. But, yeah. Well, anyway, so I got this car and, hot riding around, being a kid, whatever. We used to play cat and mouse, chase each other around. We didn't have CBs or anything. Me and my friends would just chase. Well, anyway. One time, senior year in high school, we had people with, we had it for a small town. We had quite the car culture. We had some lowriders. We had a little bit of everything. Well, some of these guys were taking their trucks mudding in the fields, because what else are we gonna do other than drink? But so we take it out, and here I am in my car. There's this big truck stuck kind of in the middle. I take my car, I go all the way around this guy. Boy, was that guy pissed. And then, fast forward a few years later, I'd be driving trying to fix my CD player because, wonderful, high school kid. I had no idea what I was doing, but I find that, because it shorted out, because, we need safety. And I only had little nubs, about yay big, left of wiring after multiple CD players. Because my first one died, and then I got that one. Then I got a better one. Well, anyway, we'd drive around, and I finally had to let my friend drive because one of my friends in the back seat, because I wasn't, I was trying to adjust, so we'd have music to go to the movies, and I'm driving with one hand. All of a sudden, I see sparks because I had hit a curb and done that. Oh yeah, that was loads of fun. I seen sparks. Oh boy. Of course, people would laugh because they'd pull up next to me, rev their engines. I'd rev my mighty 4-cylinder putt. They're like, ooh. They're like, you didn't think you could beat? No, God, no. I had to stomp the gas and wait for something to happen. Well, anyway, as time goes on, because I had this car for numerous years, I was out with some friends. It's wintertime, there's snow, and, well, us being the wonderful degenerate, we're going down back roads and making the snow fly up on the curb. Well, I had got a little too close to the edge, and I got in a ditch. Fun. A ditch. Well, I could go forward, and of course it being the master of power it was, it couldn't back up the little hill because it was all downhill and it was kind of a steep gradient, whatever. This guy in a truck pulls up. He's like, "Hey, you need some help?" "Yeah, we do." "Wonderful." He's like, "Here, you guys are going to have to hook up your car because I've been drinking." Later on, we get out and we continue screwing around for another like half hour or so and go back into town to the building. There's the guy drinking more. It's like, oh my god. And then I was working at McDonald's. Wonderful job, let me tell you. Well, I was helping the maintenance guy because they were remodeling the interior, so they couldn't do it during the day, they had to do it at night. So I was helping him, so I was driving home about 3 o'clock in the morning. And there's just this big dually diesel riding my ass. And it's like, I'm this little car, his headlights are like right on me, I can't see shit. But thank God the road's gonna double and he can go around and do whatever. Well, as it happens, I call it paranoia. Welcome to story time. I want to kind of do the stories. How are you, buddy? Well, anyway, as this road divides up, well, it's a big dually F-350, big monster truck. He didn't wait till it was fully thing. So all of a sudden he goes past me right as the road's like, just a little wider. And I have to, swerve, because otherwise he's just going to rip the sides off my car. Well, there happens to be a cop behind him. He pulls me over, I've been working, I'm tired. And he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" "I haven't a clue." "Well, you crossed that white line there." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, that truck almost hit me." He's like, "Have you been drinking?" "Just pop." Cop looks at me like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Whatever. I so wanted to do that sobriety test. It would have been great. I'm doing pretty good. Way better than that. Now, eventually, as cars get, it was getting a little run down because being a kid, maintenance and stuff is weird. I'll just hold my hand here. There, now everyone can see. Anyway, it kept dying on me. I kept having to, fiddle with the wiring and get it running, and every time it stopped, it'd die. Well, I eventually get it home. And my dad, being the caring, wonderful person he is, yelled at me because he's like, "Yeah, the car's been dying. I don't know what's wrong with it." He goes in there, he pulls you fried the transmission. Notice this thing burns transmission fluid, so, wonderful, automatic, wonderful vehicle. And I had fried the transmission. Well, he's like, "Now what are we going to do with this?" Well, it still runs, so we decided to drive it to the junkyard. Well, I'm in my car, my dad's following me in his truck, probably pissed as hell about the whole thing, because he's always pissed as hell about everything. I get there, I go to turn off, I put the car in park, I go to turn off, boom! Big cloud of smoke everywhere. It's like, oh my god, boy was I lucky. So I go in with my title in hand. He's like, "Well, you gotta turn in this title. Is it gonna be my stamp or yours?" I'm like, "Well, I'm here, so here, have it. You can pay for the 20 cents for the stamp." Because if it still ran, I would have got something for it, but me and my wonderful luck, I got nothing. Well, fast forward and then I wound up with the world's ugliest Cutlass Supreme. It was apparently green. It was mostly blue-gray and just very bland. I seen it green one time when I was in one of those manual car washes. I didn't take care of this thing for 3 years, and it had the worst engine. This engine is known for dying. I didn't change the oil, didn't do shit to it because I didn't want it. But the AC did work, which was nice, and all the electronics worked. But I didn't want this car. So I just beat the piss out of it for 3 years. Finally, the wheel hub goes, and the wheel brake caliper goes, and I just... whatever. Move along. Well, I was at Menards at this time, and, I was making reasonable money. Well, they had a yearly bonus, and I had that. For profit sharing or whatever, I had a couple grand. So I'm like, I'm going to buy me a car I want instead of driving this stupid car. So I go to this rinky-dink dealership and buy a Dodge Shelby Charger. Now, let's see, I will find a Charger. Now, this was a fun car. I love this car. This car was great. Let's see, go to images. Let's see if I could find a... Ooh, that's a big picture. What's that? Ooh, perfect. Open image. New tab. And this is basically what it looks like. Very sharp. Mine was a little rustier and a little rougher wear, but I loved this car. It was my favorite. It was turboed. It was fun. It was everything I could have hoped for and more. Well, I wanted to fix it up. So, it ran fairly well. No AC. It was kind of fun little car. It was my baby. I love this thing so much. Oh, this one looks like mine. I loved it so much. It was a fun little car. I couldn't complain. Hatchback. I once smoked some wonderful children in a Chevy Cavalier. They pull up to me, the fart pipe, lowered suspension, subs going. Well, I had subs in mine too, but... Well, I had to get over there, and they pull up next to me, and vroom, vroom, scary lawnmower noises. I'm like, alright. Well, I gotta get off and make a right, so I'm in the left-hand lane, and they go, and I go, and all of a sudden, make my turn, and just away I go. I love that car. That car was great. Well, anyway, I have to get a little more money next year, and I decided from my mom's boyfriend to buy an F-150. I tried to get a nicer model one that, it was still an 81, which was great, and this is like 2005. 2003, somewhere in there. Well, I couldn't afford this one. This one was the extended cab, lifted, everything I could have wanted and more. Well, the one I got was not horrible. It was a little rusty, a little rough, a little faded. But what do you expect? The four-wheel drive work, it ran great. It was a wonderful truck. It needed carb work when I had it, and at the time I had no idea how to work a carburetor, but I wasn't as smart as I am now. I've learned how to fix things much better now that my uncle's been helping me. He helps me with stuff. We put engine in my Jeep I had before my Explorer. We put a radiator, dropped it. I've learned a lot. Well, anyway, I get this, and we had moved close to where I work, so, big V8, it was fine. I could fill it up. Well, we happened to move back to where the town where, so I was driving 45. I was filling this tank 3 times, every 3 days to go to work, and that, I couldn't afford to do that. I bring it back because I had paid like $800. He wanted $2,000, but I gave him like $800-900. Well, he had a Ford Escort. He's like, Here, I'll trade you back. We'll be square and even. Just sign the title over. And I'm like, great. So I got this wonderful little car, a Ford Escort GT. Fun little car. I recommend anyone should have one. 5-speed, dual overhead. I mean, it wasn't fast, but it was quick, and it was, this little car, and you could maneuver. Oh, it was so much fun. Other than the right rear tire of it, somebody had curved the rim and cracked it, so it'd lose air tire, and I've replaced it like 3 times. The tire, and I needed to buy rims for it, but, being the poor person I was, and still am, that's what I did. I just filled her full of air and kept up and drove it. Well, anyway, I'm driving home from work one evening. Car just dies. What? What the hell? Go start, nothing, no turning over, no nothing. So I have to call my dad about not 10 o'clock at night because I got off work at the wonderful Menards, going the opposite way where I passed the wonderful Cavalier earlier, and I'm like, So my dad takes it, and we go and get my charger back because I needed a car. I happen to have it. And anyway, so wait, no. He had gotten me a 96, no, not 96, 94 Grand Prix, the ugly boxy one, with the smallest engine you could get, and the biggest, longest ass car. Oh, this thing was horrible. The AC didn't work. Looked really nice. Nothing wrong with it. It looked like a brand new car inside and out. But it had no power. It didn't go, and I did my best to try and take care of it, because I couldn't afford anything. Well, anyway, the Escort my dad took home. He's like, yeah, I thought maybe we could fix it. No, it had grenaded 2 of the 4 cylinders, because my dad didn't want to look any further than that. It had just destroyed the engine. There was no saving this car. That car was in a nice shape. It was a wonderful teal color. Very me. But anyway, it was a lovely teal color. And I'm like, now what am I gonna do? Well, my dad's like, well, I'll look around, see if we can find you something. He found this wonderful Grand Prix with no power. Didn't drive it. It drove halfway decent, but, it was like my Buick, you stomp on the gas and wait for something to happen eventually. But, I tried to keep it nice. I had broke the door handles, 3 of the 4 door handles on this thing. I had to go buy new door handles. The car was white. The handles only came in black. Well, it looked like a cow after this, because, it's nice to open doors. Because being in Minnesota, things freeze shut, and the seals on this, they were horrible. The heater worked great. No AC, but the heater worked great. And all the windows rolled down. Well, anyway, me and the ex-wife decided we needed to go grocery shopping. We didn't shop in town, because it's just a little mom and pop grocery store, and it's expensive as hell. And we had bought in a house. So we'd drive all the way, like an hour away to go get groceries. Well, anyway, we get groceries, and we come out. Car won't move. It'll start, it'll run, but it won't move. I'm like, oh shit. So I call my dad. I'm like, hey, the car won't move. It runs, but it won't go into gear, it won't move. Second tranny that I've destroyed, apparently, because, heaven forbid, I did, it didn't shift funny like the Buick would at occasions so I'd know it was low on tranny. No, it shifted fine, everything was fine, it just, of course, it was the world's worst freaking engine. Short of my 4-cylinder there in an even bigger car. Well, anyway, that sucks. So we go, my dad's like, do you still have that charger? I'm like, yeah, it's down south by my mom's at her boyfriend's house, the same guy I bought the Escort and the truck from. He's like, let's go get it. So we go get it. My dad proceeds to make sure it's all in well running order. Oh, sure enough, it is. That's wonderful. Great little car. I drove that thing for about a year. And then I rolled it. The day before my birthday. I was all excited. I was going home and, it's my birthday. Woo! And keep in mind, this is not wintertime. This is the middle of summer. And I was actually at the same place my dad was working there. Well, anyway, I go off. I'm going home. I was so excited I almost forgot to put on my seatbelt. So I put on my seatbelt. I was going a little fast, so I let off the gas. All of a sudden, my car starts fishtailing like a motherfucker. I can't control it. I'm fighting the wheel. And keep in mind, they hadn't redone this road ever since they put it in, because it's a little frontage road. And there is massive potholes. Well, anyway, I hit a pothole and shooting. Going 30 miles an hour, mind you. I had slowed down to 30, 35. And being summertime and that car only having a heater, which worked phenomenal, I had my hand out the window. Well, I had managed to roll my car over my hand. I didn't break nothing. And I am just upset. Here is my car. The car I'd worked for. The car I loved. And it landed on its roof. Thank goodness. The first time after I rolled it on, I pulled my hand and held onto the wheel. It's on its roof. I'm like, that's no fun. So I proceed to climb out of the car. And I look. Now, keep in mind the unibody framework underneath this car. On where the side where it was completely... All the suspension was still attached to the frame part of the car. It's just the frame part of the car was... Because the guy had kept it outside. I asked him, could you please kind of keep it in a garage? I don't want it to rust out anymore or whatever. No, he kept it out in the middle of the yard, so all the grass, so it got moisture, and the frame was just... The whole underside was just bad now. Like, it wasn't that great to begin with, but now it was worse because the moisture got in and weakened. Like, you could poke holes with your fingers through this floor now. I'm like, jeez. So, of course, I called my ex-wife, who I was still married to at the time. I'm like, hey, can you come pick me up? I rolled my car. No, I can't. She's buying her car. She buys a Lumina that had way too many miles. And clogged Cadillac converter. The whole thing. It was just a nightmare. I used to have to drive every other weekend to go make her car payment. An hour and a half away. Because they won't let people send it. You had to go there in person, which was stupid. I didn't want to go through that, but whatever. That's what she went with, and then she got this car. I'm like, great. What am I going to do now? Well, anyway, after that, the cop comes and yells at me, thinking, sporty little car. He's probably going way too fast and lost control. No, I work right there. Because the main highway's on one side, I'm on the other side. And that was always fun. I lost my license for 6 months because the insurance company, I couldn't get a hold of. I tried for a month. Calling 3 or 4 times a day, leaving multiple messages, trying to get a hold of them. Oh, we never got your message. Of course. Because it's still under the... it's like, oh my fucking god, really? I've been calling you nonstop. The time I called to report the claim, or whatever, they're like, well, so I got, caught with no insurance because they wouldn't answer their phone. I'm like, fuck that. I don't need this. So, of course, I instantly go and find different insurance. Well, anyway, before I knew all this was happening, they bring me to the back of the ambulance. Hey, you need to come with us. I'm like, no, I don't. I feel fine. My hand hurts a little bit, but it's fine. I can move all my fingers. And they're like, did you have blurry vision? I'm like, I sure did, till somebody found my glasses. And that tech looked at me like, what? Oh, God. It's like, yeah, I got glasses. I can't see without them. Thank God one of the first responders handed them. Here, is these yours? Yes, they are. Thank you. Because, of course, they went flying off. And I had bought the flexi ones, so they were fine. Because anytime I try and buy, like, you know, those real fine, nice-looking glasses, I'd break them. So, of course, I finally get the car. I had a $200 tow, 10 feet, and then my dad brings it there, and it's like, well, now what are you going to do with this? I'm like, I don't know. But I do need a car, and I don't have a lot of money because I just bought this house. And me and my ex-wife had just bought this house, and of course my dad asked, being the wonderful person he is, he asked me, your house isn't new. Are you jealous your brother's is new? I was like, no. I have my own house. Why would I be jealous because his is new? Who cares? I have my own. I don't need this. Of course, this is the same man that at 11 years old told me he had nothing to brag about me to his friends at work. It's like, well, I'm smarter than my brother, who you adore, and my sister, who is spoiled rotten. I just work. I just do what I need to. Well, anyway, we're not going to get into that. So I go, huh. So I'm stuck there. I'm waiting, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do for a call? All of a sudden, my uncle, the one that's been helping me with my current vehicles, and, you know, we put an engine in a newer Jeep when I got divorced so I could go visit my mom, because he happened to have a Jeep that he couldn't get rid of. Every time he'd try and trade it in, it'd die. He'd try and sell it, wouldn't start, the seller wouldn't want it. He just couldn't get rid of this thing. He's like, you know what? You can have it. I'm like, great! I like Jeeps. I learned to drive in one, because my grandparents had one. And I used to drive that before I got the wonderful Buick Skyhawk. Let me tell you, that started my love affair with Jeeps. I want another one. I miss my Jeep. I like my Explorer that I have, even though it's a 96, and that's the newest vehicle I've ever owned. Well, anyway. So we go to the DMV. He's like, well, we'll just say you paid $500 for it, whatever. Well, I had to renew my license. So I did that, got the title transferred to the Jeep, and I wasn't with the same insurance. I went to a different insurance company after I found out, like, 2 days later. And I had got this Jeep, and he's like, hey, you're gonna have to get the insurance changed over. I'll hold on to it, because it's, the beginning of the month. He's like, I've already paid it this month, you just drive it. Great, that gives me time. So I wind up with this $100 Jeep. I watched this thing roll up to 300,000 miles. 300,000. Like, if I drove for more than an hour, something in the cab would start smoking, and but it ran, it drove. It was actually not too bad a Jeep. It was my Jeep. I loved driving it. Well, we took it to my mom's, and obviously this thing would start smoking and stuff, and we had to smell it out. I felt so bad because I didn't know about this issue till after I took it to my mom's 4 hours away. Like, going down there was fine, and then coming back, it just, whatever. Well, oh, that's no good, so I have done something. I put a cone air filter, because the air filter, there was a vacuum hose on there that just leaked this gunk into it. I'm like, well, I took that off, ran the whatever the gunk was down to the bottom so it just go on the ground and I wouldn't have to deal with it. Put a cone air filter on there, because running one without would be a bad idea. So I drove this thing for like 3 years. Well, my ex-wife became promiscuous, and I was working full-time, going to school full-time. Well, what am I going to do with this? Well, I had moved in with my aunt and uncle, and I was helping them. Her Uncle Bob, he'd bring like old Buicks and stuff, and me and him would work on them and do like interior work, and I learned a lot. Well, I'm like, I really need to get something I can go visit my mom with that's 4 hours away. Like, the Jeep is nice to get to and from work. I mean, I liked it. Well, let's see if we can find you something else. Oh, we start looking on Craigslist, and we're trying to find stuff. All of a sudden, we come across this 94 Jeep Cherokee. Huh. 4-cylinder, 5 speed, great. The engine's bad. They're not sure why, but they had pulled the engine out, and we had, $350. Perfect. It's not very expensive. It runs and drives. It's great. So we get it home. Me and my uncle, we tear off the top. It's only a little 4-cylinder, so not big on power. Can't get into too much trouble, but it's 4-wheel drive in Minnesota, fairly rust free. So I get it. We get it. They already have the engine out. I tried to mention to my uncle, hey, maybe we should hook up the hood latch so we can open it. Oh, it'll be fine. And then he realizes what I was trying to say when we got back. He's like, oh, we can't open the hood now because the hood latch is no. So we have to climb under this thing. And this is before he got the 4-post lift or the 2-post lift from his shop. Oh, it's all jack stands and all that. And we managed to climb underneath the thing and get the hood open and take it off. Well, then we pull the engine off and we start tearing off the top end to try and see. So we get the top end off. Dime-sized holes in the cylinder walls. Well, that's not gonna work. So we gotta find another engine. So we start looking on Craigslist again, or he does, because I'm working, I'm dealing with ex-wife crap and everything else. House payment. I had to move in with them because I was making decent money at the time, but I couldn't afford a place to live and our house payment because my ex-wife had screwed that all up. Well, anyway, I go along and we come to this conclusion. Hi, Uncle's like, hey, we found an engine. Great. Well, I forgot what I was doing. I was going to be they were going up north or something, and I was going to do something else. I think I had school, so, because I was in college too, the whole debacle with the ex-wife. I was working full-time and going to school full-time, and yeah, I somehow had time to cheat on her. I don't know. I don't know when I did, or however. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. So they go up, and they had found this engine out of a 2004 Wrangler. 4-cylinder? Great! Only had like 30,000 miles on it. So here I got this brand new damn near engine. $350. You're noticing a trend here. Everything for this, I had to buy a new clutch and stuff because we had the engine out. Why not make it easier? That way, it wasn't bad. It's just, what, we had it out. It was fairly old at the time, so why not do it now? And we got a decent clutch for it. I love that Jeep. I still miss driving that Jeep. It just, whatever. So he brings this engine back, and we're swapping things over. He's like, do you want to paint it? Ooh. So I get this neon green spray paint, or engine paint. So we got her primed, and I'm spraying it on. Here I am with this neon green engine in my Jeep. It's glorious. I really wanted to take the valve cover off and paint it chrome. Never did do that. That was too much work, so the whole thing was just green. So I got this green engine. We get it in. We get her started. Oh my goodness, this engine runs. My Jeep runs. I drove this thing for years. In fact, I joined an off-road club and managed to blow up the two front U-joints in the front axle. But I had bought new ones, but they were the wrong ones because, you know, we just got some. We didn't have time. We got the parking brake to finally work on this thing. Because it never worked. I just put it in gear and that was that. It didn't work very well, but it worked well enough to, you know, pass the inspection. And I had put the muffler was just rusted out, so I had gotten a glass pack. I just slid it in there thinking, oh, that'll hold it. It fell off in a mud hole somewhere. So I had to get another one. But, you know, it had a nice rumble, but it didn't sound, you know, it wasn't super annoying like these loud trucks around here. You know, it had a boom, bum, boom, 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 boom. You know, kind of like a nice, not super loud, but not super quiet, you know. It was great driving this thing. I eventually sold it. Well, my uncle did, because, you know, I need something a little nicer, because, you know, I've had it for a few years, and I haven't always been I took care of it for the most part, but you know, when money was tight or whatever, I just couldn't afford to take care of it when it needed it. And it was, I couldn't wash it as often as I wanted to, and well, anyway, we decided to sell it. I sold it for what we paid for it, $350. Here, I bought this car, I drove it for like 7 years, and I sold it for $350. What we paid for it not running is what we sold it for running. But it was rusty, not safe. I had put some, you know, because the taillights were cracked, so I had put in some Alteza, you know, the fake carbon fiber, because it was a nice dark hunter green. It looked sharp. I love this thing. But it was becoming unsafe, so I had to get rid of it. And that brings us to my current daily driver, which is my 96 Ford Explorer that my grandparents had got for me down in Arizona. Every option. The AC did work, but it's got a leak somewhere, and I haven't been able to find it or fix it. It's a pain in the ass. But that does. Well, I had it for a year. You know, it'd kind of start, but it wouldn't always shift into gear, which I thought was kind of weird. But it only did that every once in a while. Well, anyway, I'd been driving it for about a year, and my wife had got AAA, which is always get AAA. I recommend AAA. You know, $80 a year, and then you can tow anything. It's peace of mind. You're paying for a little bit of peace of mind. Right now, I haven't. Well, I've used it a few times, but well, anyway. I'm driving to work right away in the morning. All of a sudden, hear awful noises, and I can't go. So I end up pulling, and you see this death trail of transmission fluid. I'm like, oh, great. So call AAA. I get them to come. They pull it to the AAA place, which is the Goodyear dealership mechanic shop in town here. I would not recommend bringing anything to them because they can't fix shit. Well, they called me. We looked at it. It's going to be $2,600 for a transmission. You need to replace the whole thing. Like, I can't afford that. That's more than the truck is worth. Even though it's rust-free and nice, but it's only rear-wheel drive. It's not four-wheel drive. That's the only issue I have with it. Well, my uncle's like, oh, you know, I'll come down and take it out. We'll drop the transmission. So we dropped the transmission. Fine and dandy. Here we are with this. We pull out the transmission. I'm like, huh. Here the flywheel was still bolted on, but it had cracked all the way around the bolts. So it was no longer attached. What they had done was just spun it, seeing if it would catch. They didn't take anything apart. It's like, really, it's a transmission issue and you didn't drive. Because it's rear-wheel drive. It takes, you got your bolts in the back real easy and the drive shaft. And it's not like you have four-wheel drive with everything else going on underneath there. No. So we managed to get it fixed for $450. We had to replace the flywheel. Well, when we put the torque converter down to go get a new flywheel for it, we found out it leaked and a few other new parts. Well, that's not good, so we got that, and we kind of had to guesstimate which one we needed. And that was that. Well, so we get it back together, and about another year later, I go to the gas station. Or, no, I went to the grocery store. I'm like, shit, the car don't. I go there, I'm only there to get a couple of things. Because sometimes, it ran a little funky and didn't think nothing of it. Well, I go there, click, nothing. Like, I could turn the engine, so I'm like, I listen for the fuel flow. Oh, great, fuel pump's out. Well, it's a 20-year-old vehicle, it's gonna happen. So we take, once again, my uncle to my rescue. Well, luckily we had AAA. He didn't have to come down and get it. We just sent it up there at AAA. And we dropped the gas. He's like, is it full? I'm like, well, it's 3/4, because everything happens when you have a full tank of gas. Every time. Doesn't matter what. That's full tank of gas. Let's die now! It's like, shit. You could have waited. You could have done this yesterday when it was empty. Or, well, not empty, but a lot less gas than there is now. So we get it out, and I replace the fuel pump in it. I tell you the fuel pump story because my sister, or sister-in-law, she has a 2013 Dodge Dart. They had bought it second owner, fairly new, a few years. She's already replaced the fuel pump. Now, let me give you this word of advice with the fuel pump. If you're going to do that, don't run your car below 1/4 of a tank of gas, because that'll cause it to fry. Because what people don't realize is that the fuel in your gas tank will cool it. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of some other fun stories with cars, because this is going to become Ferg's car stories at the moment, but that's pretty much all the cars I pretty much owned we went through. And I still drive the 96 Explorer, which is recent. It has, well, what happened was somebody had put some aftermarket battery plugs on there, and it's just the clamp-on type, and I've been futzing with it. I thought I had it dialed in, it just died again. I got it working again because the one to the starter and everything is supposed to be through the bolt. Well, the bolt's too big for it that connects it. So it's sitting across the top, and sometimes it doesn't touch, and you can't do anything with it. Which is great, because the door locks, the key door locks don't always work very well on this thing, because it's got the automatic buttons. But yeah, I think that's a good stopping point. We've went for 50 minutes, and my throat's getting a little raw. But, it was something interesting. I thought I'd share it with you. Some of my stories with you guys. I might do other stories where I think I want to do one with Vagram where we talk about movies, because I think that'd be really fun. Because we have similar tastes in movies. And we have different ideas on what's a good movie, but we both like the bad movies. We enjoy bad movies. We don't think they're bad, but, everyone's like, oh, that movie's awful. And we discuss that. And a few other things. But I thought this would be fun to, just have story time. Like, same setup as this. Like, I'd show pictures, because, I have the live screen, where I could just switch real quick, show a picture and make things way easier. Yeah, I bet you would, because that would be entertaining. I thought this would be a little funnier, but this is just me rambling, which is okay. I like rambling. It's great. I got great, fairly decent stories of, taking my cars through the muds and rolling one going 30 miles an hour, like in the middle of summer, in the wintertime. Oh, I forgot about that. The winter before, we had 3 people roll their vehicles and they all 3 hit their head because they just went like this and unbuckled and where are you going to go? They're like, did you hit your head? I'm like, nope, put my hand right here and click. I didn't fall to my death. I didn't smack my head. It was great. Of course, all I want to do was go home and have something to eat and enjoy my birthday, but that's besides the point. I've had interesting stories like this, so I figure I'd share them. I got stories. I like telling them, spinning a good yarn and getting distracted. But yeah, I think I might try and think of other things like this that would be, fun and entertaining and not just video. I love games, but I figured this would be fun. Maybe have discussions with people, certain things, because I have a lot of different interests. Cars being one of them. I have no money, so I can't have any fancy cars, like classic cars or anything. Like, my wife's ultimate dream car is a Porsche. I'm a long way from ever achieving that dream for her, but one day I will. I guarantee it. It may not be the one she wants, but it'll be one I can afford. Because she has a really nice car. Her car before this, oh my god. Never buy a GM Saturn. When Saturn was owned by themselves and not part of GM, never own a GM one. To replace the thermostat, you have to remove the top end. The whole top end of it. And it's fuel injection, it's fancy, it's nuts. And then they give you a little box, about yay big, to put this angled of the dangled thing, fuel, or temperature thing for the engine, and drop it in. But yeah, I'll have to get with Vagram. I think that would be super fun if we could do a movie thing. Because we both like movies, and we could go for hours. But yeah, I thought I'd do this. It's something different. It's a little entertaining. I thought it'd be fun to try to do this, because, I got different stories. I can really start telling some of my doctor's stories because of my Crohn's or whatever. I am nothing but an embarrassment in the hospital. My wife is embarrassed. She's like, haven't you asked? I'm like, yeah, you haven't. Like, I had a flare up just the other day, and we went to the doctors just to be sure, because I don't like going to the hospital. They take my food away. I like food. Well, anyway, I'll save that for another day. But basically, she had gone with. I'm like, yeah, you haven't been with me because I'm an embarrassment here. But yeah. Thank you, Call It Paranoia, for joining me in my random ramblings. But thank you. I think I've gone for an hour. I think it'd be... I figure I would tell multiple different stories, but I think I'll stick with one subject, and this one happened to be some of my more entertaining car stories. Or me being stupid in cars. It was fun. I've actually jumped my Buick too. I forgot about that. That was hilarious. I jumped it a few times because there was an alley when we'd play cat. Yeah, it was. It was interesting. I'm sorry I don't have one of those nice, very nice voices in which to do this, but whatever. Alright. Thank you for stopping by, and anyone else who watches this eventually down the road. Alright. Goodbye.